Hey, we were almost out of time, but we managed to pull it off. We are going to get this video out. This is the final prediction. Now, you're going to see this video about 4 o'clock. Then right after that, I probably have to do whatever roster moves the Detroit Lions make. I wanted to get this video out to honor my word, man. We are almost done with the season. We've done every single power rankings, every single defensive ranking through, and every single final prediction video. I usually fade off and don't finish the season, but I am committed to finish, even if it's the day of the game. So let's get right into it, man. Here is the matchup predictor between the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys. To my surprise, the Dallas Cowboys have a 38.4% chance to win this game to the Detroit Lions 61.3%. That is a little high. I mean, even at home, the type of football that Dallas is playing and the way that Detroit is playing, that is a little high to me. You have Dak Prescott, their leading passer, of course. He is 303 out of 437, 25 touchdowns, a little high on the interception side, 8 interceptions for 3,261 yards. Jared Goff is 264 for 378, 25 touchdowns as well, with 5 interceptions for 3,025 yards. Javonte Williams, the leading rusher, has 198 carries, 8 touchdowns, 955 yards. And of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, the leading rusher for the Detroit Lions, 75 carries, 10 touchdowns with 1,019 yards. The first time that he's been like the true RB1 since he got drafted. The leading wide receiver, George Pickens, 73 receptions, 8 touchdowns with 1,142 receiving yards. There's word coming out that the Dallas Cowboys are going to tag him for next season because he is a free agent next season. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I hope will miss this game. I'm not going to lie. I know he wants to play, but if we have to show that we can stand without him, man, and don't risk a potential longer injury because it's only been 7 days. I mean, he'll get 10 days after this, so let him have the day off. 884 yards, questionable, 75 receptions with 9 touchdowns. Man, look at the difference between like a big play wide receiver, like a long ball wide receiver, and the shorter ball guy. St. Brown is the dude for sure, but Pickens got that Jameson Williams type of explosion. James Houston, the former Detroit Lion, leads the team in sacks with 4.5. That is outstanding. Still have no love for James Houston, but shout out to James Houston. Listen, this is the type of production you can get from James. He's not a sack master. He's none of that stuff, man. So I got no problem with him. I just had a problem with him being on this team and y'all thinking he was better than Hutch. Don't look, I didn't forget. Aiden Hutchinson with 8.5 sacks, leading the Detroit Lions per usual. You got K. Murray, the linebacker, 70 tackles, and Jack the Maniac Campbell with 117 tackles. I don't know. Let me know if you recall Alex Anzalone ever appearing on this list this season right here. He's usually in this place. Of course, Jack Campbell is balling out of control. I think you know what that means for Alex Anzalone next year. You can get in the door for 175, according to Vivid Seats. Go down, Malik Hooker, questionable. Jadeveon Clowney, questionable. I actually think that he's not going to play. You got Tyler Guyton out. Trayvon Diggs is out. He did not get, he's still on IR or something like that. And, wow, would you know? Look at that. Cornelius. We got a Cornelius, man, on IR as well. There are your Detroit Lions who are questionable. Graham is going to play. Taylor's going to play. Panay's going to play. All of these guys, I believe, are going to play. I saw a tweet not too long ago. If we look at the last 5 opponents, the Dallas Cowboys are 2-3. They're 2-3 in their last 5, but their kind of claim to fame is really that you can throw this team in the trash. You can throw this team in the trash, and they lost to a good team at their place. This is their claim to fame as of late. They're some type of record. You know, the NFL has all these new stats, and they beat the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year in a 4 or 5 day span. So that's like some type of new record. So they're 3-2 in their last 5. And the Detroit Lions are actually 2-3 in their last 5. You know what's crazy? Is last week when we were doing this, they've got the loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. And I said last week, after we beat the Cowboys, that if we were following this pattern, we would lose this game. And we lost this game. So now if we're following this pattern, we will win this game. over the last month, we have not won 2 consecutive games, which is crazy. I mean, we've gone on streaks before, but in the month of November, we did not win consecutive games after coming off a 4-game stretch in October that we were winning games. So let's take a pause real quick. Let's talk about what's on the line for the Detroit Lions tonight. Well, the first thing that pops out to me is the streak of not losing 2 games in a row in over 3 full years. And this is now the 3rd season in which they can keep that going. But it's been 3 calendar years since that's happened. I was watching Rich Eisen today, and he said that if the Detroit Lions were to win today, they would tie an NFL record of winning after a loss at 15 games. I think it stands at 14 right now. Today would make it 15, which ties an NFL record. And then if they have to go through it, let's just say they lose to the Rams and then we face the Steelers after that. If that plays out like that and just like that, then the Detroit Lions would hold the new record for winning after a loss at 16 games. So there's that. But the most important thing is how this is the playoffs right here. This game is so big. It spans beyond just the game in front of them, right? So you have the fact that the Detroit Lions have the record, the streak on the line. You have the fact that it's the second to last home game. But you have the fact of the playoffs. Dallas is they're I don't want to say a great team, but they're playing great football right now. And that's kind of all that matters sometimes. If you are a good team and you're playing great football, you can go the distance. We saw the Giants do it from the 2000s and the 2000s and early 2010s. They were playing great football. They were not a great football team, but they were playing great football at the right time. So if the Detroit Lions can beat the explosive offense of George Pickens, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, if they can keep Jared Goff upright against Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, if they can win this game, I think that will go a long way for the rest of the season. I think this game is for the season because if they lose this game, then the Detroit Lions essentially have to win 4 straight. Now, there are some scenarios probably where, I mean, if you really, really, really dove into it, that if the perfect set of circumstance happened, that they could probably get in at 9-8. I mean, we got 5 games to go. The Lions are going to need some help regardless. So I think they threw that out the window, doing it themselves. They threw that out the window with the loss to Green Bay, getting swept by them, division opponent, all that stuff. So if they can beat the formidable Dallas Cowboys at the crib with so much on the line, with their number 1 wide receiver being out, because I'm hoping that he's out, then that will go a long way for the next 4 games. Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears. Long way to go, right? So I think the season is on the line today. A loss essentially ends the Lions 2025 campaign. 10-7 is not going to be, that would be the best record they could be. And they could still be 11-6. If they lose today, they could still be 11-6. But I think that's the line for you to get in. And that might be really, really tough, right? So that's going to be some things to think about today. Here are the Detroit Lions defensive rankings. And these are between the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. So points per game, the Detroit Lions are tied for 3rd with 29.2, and the Detroit Lions are second, and the Dallas Cowboys are second with 29.3. Wow, how slim of a margin that is. Total offense, the Detroit Lions are 3rd with 376.3 yards. The Dallas Cowboys, number one with 393.1 yards per game. Rushing offense, the Detroit Lions are 4th. So where are we at here? They are now the Dallas Cowboys are ahead of us, 2-1 in offense. Rushing offense, the Detroit Lions are 4th with 138.1 yards per game, and the Dallas Cowboys are 13th with 121.8 yards per game. So right now, the Detroit Lions take that one. It is 1-2 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. Passing offense, it is for the Detroit Lions 238.2, which is 7th, to 271.3, which is 1st. So now it is 3-1 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. Third down offense, 38.7, which is 19th, to 44.1, which is 5th. So right now it is in favor of the Dallas Cowboys, 4-1. Red zone efficiency, 65.2, which is 7th for the Detroit Lions, and 60.4, which is 13th for the Dallas Cowboys. So now 4-2. Did I say 4-2? I think it is 4-1, right? 4-1. They beat us there. They beat us there. We beat them there. They beat us there. They beat us there. So it was 4-1 going to here. So now it is 4-2. And giveaways, the Detroit Lions are second with 8, and the Dallas Cowboys are tied for 18th with 15th. So it is 4-3 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to offense. All right, so let's look at the defense. Points per game. The Detroit Lions allowed 22.8, which is now 15th. In 2 weeks, they've fallen 5 in points per game. They were 10th in points per game, and now they're tied for 15th. The Dallas Cowboys are second to last in allowing points in the NFL with 28.5. So that's 1-0 in favor of the Detroit Lions. Total defense, here it is. This is where the Detroit Lions have fallen 9 spots over the past 2 NFL games. Ridiculous. 316.2 yards, which is 14th, to the Dallas Cowboys being now 4th worst in the NFL, allowing 376.2 yards per game. So now this is 2-0 in favor of the Detroit Lions. Rushing defense, the Lions 103.7, which is 11th, to 124.7, which is 20th for the Dallas Cowboys. So 3-0 so far. Passing defense, 212.52, which is tied for 16th, to 251.5, which is again bottom of the league. 3rd worst in the league. So that's 4-0 in favor of Detroit. Third down defense. Wow, the Dallas Cowboys suck on defense. Third down defense, 37.3, which is 11th, to 48.4, which is dead last in the NFL. So that means on third down, they allow you to stay on the field more than any other team in the National Football League. So that is now 5-0 in favor of the Detroit Lions. Red zone efficiency. The Detroit Lions are also better here with 63.2, which is 27th, to 71.1, which is 30th in the NFL. And takeaways, the Detroit Lions are 13th, which is tied for 20th. And the Dallas Cowboys are 26, which is tied for 10th. I'm sorry, it's 10th, which is tied for 26. I'm all over the place. All right, so that is a clean sweep in these 7 categories that the Detroit Lions are better. And they're not just like mildly better. The closest comparison would be the red zone efficiency, 27-30. Neither one of these teams are that great. The Detroit Lions just can't seem to get away from here all season. So that made things a bit interesting, man. That made things a bit interesting for sure. Who do I think is going to win this game? I have picked the Detroit Lions time and time again. The last time I picked against them, they won that game. So you know what? I am going to pick against them, but not because of that. Maybe that'll help, but not because of that. I'm going to pick against the Detroit Lions and say that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game. And there are several reasons I'm going to say that. One is they cannot, with the passing attack that the Lions have, unless they have a Lamar Jackson type game plan, which it took the entire game and we just won by a score, they're going to lose this game. You have to be able to put Dak on the ground. You cannot give Dak Prescott with Jake Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens 3.5 seconds to throw. You cannot do that. So unless they can do that, then they're not going to win this game. That's just the way I feel. Got to be able to get to the quarterback. Plus, the Lions have only beat one team that was over 500 at the time that they played them. And the Dallas Cowboys are currently over 500. So unless they dig down in their soul, find that grit that they've been, accustomed to having and preaching about, then they're not going to win this game. And as a matter of fact, the way that the schedule is set up right now, I have the Detroit Lions they're going to win one more day. According to what they've already done, they could win one more game, which right now would be against the Minnesota Vikings because they're below 500. And if you throw a 500 or better team in there, you give them one win, the Detroit Lions could end the season at 9-8, which would be 2 games off my prediction of their floor being 11-6. So I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I'm only going by the numbers. The Lions are a better team on defense, but if they cannot get to the court, what do you see missing from this list? Which Tim needs to add. He needs to add this. Sacks. That matters. Now, the Dallas Cowboys don't have a ton either, but they made moves on the defensive line. But they were so bad before the trade deadline that they are fighting an uphill battle, very similar to how we were in 2022 when we had, according to ESPN, our offense, our defense was trending historically worse, like bad in the NFL, like of all time, allowing, I think the Lions were on pace to give up 599 yards in 17 games, which would have been an NFL record for most points allowed in the NFL season. So again, I hope I'm wrong. I have no problem being wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. Hopefully the game plan is out of control. But if you're not going to be able to disrupt Dak Prescott, you're not going to win this game. You're not. We have Terrion is out. We've got Amik. So again, unless the Lions can pull something out of a hat, which they need to do, because otherwise the season is over. I mean, the season essentially boils down to today. If we lose today, then we can't lose another game. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I hope I'm wrong, though, but I don't know.